stumbling and sobbing hysterically. An ATV had never looked so beautiful. At the steepest point of the canyon, close to where the incline began to level off, I lost my footing and began rolling down the ravine. My arms and hands flew up to protect my face and head from the dirt and rocks. Unsure if the bear was still chasing me, I scrambled back up the side of the valley, eyes fixed on the ATV and survival. My battered body reached the vehicle and I jumped on and fired up the engine. The intern and I sped away from the site. Only as I was heading towards safety did I finally look back. Heart hammering in my chest, I searched for my pursuer. Through tear-filled eyes, all I could see were plumes of dust settling back to the ground. Introduction. The closest contact the average American will have with a wildlife ecologist is through a television screen. Men traversing our world's jungles, deserts, and other topographic marvels, standing in front of a camera while they interact with wild animals and the environments around them. This, too, was my introduction to the mystery and intrigue of the natural world. The adventure shows I watched as a child riveted me. I gawked in wonder at David Attenborough, Marlon Perkins, Jim Fowler, Jeff Corwin, and Steve Irwin, as they showed me landscapes and species half a world away. The sprawling terrains and unique animals fascinated me, fueling dreams of my future, a wild life of days tracking animals under the crowded canopies of rainforests, and of nights sleeping under the starry skies of the savanna, a life of adventure and discovery, far away from cold concrete and steel. Ecologists like myself are concerned with the beings, human, animal, and otherwise, that exist in community together. We observe the relationships integral to the survival of our very fragile ecosystems. Every living thing in an ecosystem knows the steps to an intricate dance, from the trees that provide shelter and clean air to the fungi that decompose and recycle, and the animals that consume and produce energy. All beings are vital to their environment. When one resident misses a step or changes the choreography, all others suffer. Climate change, soil erosion, deforestation, mass extinctions, and pandemic diseases are all examples of these missteps, ones that can result when we don't respect the non-human relatives with whom we share space. As a wildlife ecologist, my job is to rigorously study our world and then develop the best ways to protect it, particularly through helping to manage the fickle relationships between animals and humans. We all exist in a web of interdependence, and unless we can find a way to live together in dissonant harmony, we cannot survive. Throughout my studies, one thing I didn't anticipate was that the knowledge I gained in the field, studying predators and their prey, would apply to my own life. As a young Black mother and a professional, I've built a career for myself in a space dominated by older white men, and charted my own path in a society riddled with ill-fitting expectations. These lessons have inspired my thoughts and activism, not only on conservation and climate, but also on race and identity. Animals and ecosystems have a lot to teach us about mutual respect and the importance of caring for one another in mutually beneficial ways. Observation is a major part of my work as an ecologist, as is recognizing that every location, whether tropical jungles in Africa or bustling streets in American cities, is its own type of wilderness. These stories contain my observations from a career spanning nearly 2 decades, and what I've absorbed from witnessing the shifting relationships between humans, animals, and places. From locations as varied as the cloud forests of Madagascar to the crowded pavement of Manhattan, the ecosystems I've called home have taught me to embrace dissonance, celebrate Earth's diversity, and champion those most affected by the system's failings. My perception of community has flipped from one of tenured knowing to one of growing curiosity. Yet, even with a PhD and a career's worth of experience, I am still learning. To dedicate one's life to studying animals and the spaces